Recording is started it. Okay. Now, chemical reactions and chemical equations. We must understand what is a chemical change. You have studied in the lower classes all these things, chemical changes. You know, the changes we classify them into two, physical and chemical changes. And what are chemical changes? We say they are permanent changes. Now, what do you mean by permanent changes, and how do we understand the change has taken place or not? If somebody says this chemical reaction has taken place, then we shouldn't believe that. All these chemical reactions, chemical changes take place must be studied and understood with our sensory organs. Have you understood it? Our sensory organs must tell, okay, this change has taken place, therefore something has happened. Suppose like some reactions will produce some bad smell. When the smell comes, you can understand, okay, one foul smell has come, something new has taken place. If there is some color change, we can understand it, some change has taken place. If pepper is burnt, light, heat, and the color, structure, texture of the pepper has been changed, so therefore we say the chemical reaction has taken place. So chemical changes are permanent changes in which a new substance is formed, right? And what do you mean by new substance? New substance means its properties are different from that of the original substance what we are taking it. Have you understood it? So what are our sensory organs like? Touching, the presence of heat or cold, smell, odor, evolution of light, evolution of heat, or a color change, etc. anything. Like in this, we are to do all silver compounds when it is left outside. You know that the photography is taking place and the work is carried out in a dark room. Isn't it? The so-called photographic film, when exposed to light, the coating present on the film is getting reacted. So that reaction takes place in the presence of light. So the photographic film becomes black. So we can say the reaction has taken place. If an iron nail is taken and put it outside for a few months, and when you check it out, its color gets changed. We say iron is rusted it. So we see with our naked eye some color change on the material. Therefore, we say the thing has rusted it. And that is what is a chemical change. Every chemical change must be felt with our sensory organ. We must feel it with our sensory organ. Then only we can understand what change has taken place. Otherwise, it shouldn't be. Have you understood it clearly? Suppose like we take an apple, cut it by a knife, leave it in the atmosphere for some time. Then the portion which is being cut, the color change takes place. Isn't it? It turns a little bit of reddish in color. So some change has taken place. So whether it is the release of gas, evolution of a gas, smell it, taste. And taste is the ultimate option. You are not allowed to taste any substance until and unless it is told. Suppose like, I know this substance is not going to harm you anything, so I can ask, okay, I know this is common salt. So I am giving you, you taste it, you can taste it. If I do not know it is common salt or not, then I will not ask. Nobody will ask you to taste any chemical until and unless that person knows it. Have you understood it? So every chemical change must be identified with our sensory organs, right? Now then comes the chemical equation. And what is a chemical equation? Equations are used to represent a chemical change. How the chemical change takes place, that is what is expressed in the form of equation. And that equation can be either it is word equation. For example, hydrogen burns in oxygen to produce water. So that is a word equation. Or if you write it as hydrogen plus oxygen produces water, plus heat is released. That is a word equation. And instead of that, because when you are going to write the word equation, it takes a lot of time. So we must reduce it, our work must go faster. Therefore, we take it in the form of chemical equation. Have you understood it? And what is a chemical equation? Chemical equation, generally we say that it is a qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction. It is a qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction by means of symbols and formula. Note down. Note down this one. qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative and quantitative representation. Qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction. Qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction by means of symbols and formulae. It is a qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction by means of symbols and formulae. You can see that now? SYMBOLs and formulae. Quantitative representation of a chemical reaction by means of symbols and formulae. Now, hydrogen burns in oxygen to produce H2O. Now, what is the quality? First, what is written in quality? Quality of the reactants. Quality of the reactants means we know that hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas, and H2O is liquid. This is the quality is mentioned. So, first statement is qualitative. What quality, what type of reactants we are taking it. Understood it? And the second is quantity. And what is the quantity? We write it 2H2 plus O2 becomes 2H2O. How much quantity we are taking it? And that is why a balanced chemical equation is the qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction by means of symbols and formulae. You know that elements are represented by symbols and molecules are represented by formulae. One more example. When sodium burns in oxygen, we get sodium oxide. Sodium burns in oxygen, we get sodium oxide. The sodium is metal solid, oxygen is gas, and this is solid. And when we make it balancing, 4Na plus O2 becomes 2Na2O. So the chemical reaction is balanced. A qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction by means of symbols and formulae. Understood, everybody? That is what is a balanced chemical equation. Any doubt, anybody? You can ask. Just show your finger up, then I'll explain it. Clear? Now, why should a chemical equation be balanced? Why should an equation be balanced? We have studied in 9th standard the law of chemical combinations. The first law which we have studied it, what was that? The law of conservation of mass. And what does that law say? During any chemical reaction, the matter is neither created nor destroyed. Remember that? That is the law of conservation of mass. So this is a simple question which is asked. One more question. Why should chemical equation be balanced? And simple answer is, it must be balanced to obey the law of conservation of mass. Understood it? We have studied in 9th standard law of conservation of mass. Matter is neither created nor be destroyed. Remember the Dalton's atomic theory. Compare with that. Dalton's atomic theory says the matter is indivisible. And the law of conservation of mass says the arrangement of the atoms are taking place. Isn't it? Hydrogen molecule which contains atoms, oxygen molecules which contains atoms, and when H2O is formed, the rearrangement of the atoms are taken. No new atom is going into that. Am I right? When this reaction is taken, sodium atoms combined with oxygen atoms, we get sodium oxide. So the reactants and products are having the same type of atoms. And that is why the law of conservation of mass says matter is neither created nor destroyed. And that is the meaning of law of conservation of mass. So we obey the law of conservation of mass, for which the chemical equation is balanced. So balanced chemical equation says this. Understood the definition? Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Qualitative and quantitative representation of a chemical reaction, and every chemical reaction must be represented with symbols and formulae. Understood it well? Now, how can we make these chemical equations more informative? More informative means, for example, when sodium carbonate is reacted with HCl, then we get NaCl plus H2O plus carbon dioxide gas. Sodium carbonate, when reacted with HCl, we get sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. This is the chemical equation I have written. And how can we make this chemical equation more informative? And it can be made more informative by mentioning it. Sodium carbonate is solid, HCl is liquid, diluted, and this is NaCl plus H2O. We can read it as aqueous. This is liquid, aqueous, and carbon dioxide gas is released. Understood? So, a chemical reaction can be made more informative by mentioning about the physical nature of the reactants as well as the products. Understood it? Physical nature means whether it is solid, liquid or gas, aqueous, insoluble, precipitate, etc., whatever it is. In some reactions, certain substances are formed which are insoluble. We call it as precipitate. In some reactions, gas is released, so we can write it as, in bracket, gas. Now, in this method, we can make the chemical reaction more informative. And these things are not possible when we write the word equation. You write sodium carbonate when react plus diluted hydrochloric acid will be giving you sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. You have written it. And the other information like sodium chloride is aqueous, carbon dioxide is gas and etc. one cannot display. That is a drawback. Have you understood it well? So a chemical reaction must be a chemical reaction. When we read that chemical equation, we must understand it. What are the things which are going to take place? What are the products? What are the reactions? How the reaction takes place? Now, certain reactions, like note down, chemical reactions are classified into two. Chemical reactions are classified into two. According to the temperature, according to the heat. That means you can understand some chemical reaction will take place when we heat it, and some reaction takes place with the release of heat. So when heat is involved, heat can be absorbed or heat can be released. Light can be absorbed, light can be released. Remember, every chemical reaction requires some amount of energy. Now, I'll tell you that how. We have studied earlier, among these atoms and molecules, do we have atoms in nature? What is the basic difference between atoms and molecules? Atoms cannot exist independently, whereas molecule can exist independently. Right? Anything that is existed in this universe is molecule, not atoms. So atoms combine to form molecule. So for every chemical reaction to take place, first thing, these, what we have in nature, molecule. These molecules need to be converted into atoms. Understood it? And conversion of molecules into atoms requires energy. And mostly energy will be absorbed. And that is, we say, the first thing that takes place in every chemical reaction is endothermic, where heat is absorbed. And why heat is absorbed? The energy is absorbed to break the molecules into atoms. Have you understood it? And then what happens when a new material, new product is formed, the energy is released. And that is what is actually taking place in this chemical reaction. Every chemical reaction. The first thing that takes place is endothermic, because energy is absorbed to break the molecules into atoms. And then the rearrangement of these atoms will take place to produce a new product, and that will release energy. Clear? Now, for breaking down the molecules into atoms, say for example, 1000 joules of energy is absorbed. And when the new molecules are formed, 2000 joules of energy are released. So we get surplus 1000, isn't it? And that is what is we get in the form of exothermic reactions. For example, you know hydrogen is highly combustible. In your kitchen we have got LPG. You let the LPG gas leak. There is oxygen in the atmosphere. Do you think that LPG is going to catch fire by itself? It does not, until and unless somebody provides a spark or a flame. Am I right? And what happens when we give that spark? Energy is given, right? And when energy is given, the LPG molecules which are present are converted into atoms, the oxygen molecules converted into atoms, then they combine to form the product, and the energy started released, and that will give more and more energy to the reactants, and the explosion take place. Do you understand it well? So every chemical reaction, remember, if LPG gas is leaking, there is no harm until and unless somebody produces a spark. And what is that spark does? The spark helps to break the molecule into atoms. And once the reaction is initiated, and then the energy release is sufficient enough so that the rest of the molecules are getting broken and more reactions are taking place. You understood it clearly? So that's what I told you. First thing for any chemical reaction is energy is absorbed to break the molecules into atoms, and when new molecules are formed, energy is released, and when more energy is released than what energy is absorbed, then we get surplus energy, and that we call it as exothermic. And less energy is released during the formation, more energy is absorbed and less energy is released, then we call it as endothermic reactions. Do you understand it well? For example, coal is to be burned. Coal will not catch fire until and unless we give some heat to the coal, isn't it? When coal is heated red hot, then it's continuously burned. So initial process is what? Exothermic one. And when more and more amount of energy is released, we get energy release now. So that makes during the release or absorption of heat, the chemical reactions are classified as exothermic or endothermic reactions. Clear? Now, the next topic that in this one is balancing of chemical equation. This you all have studied in the lower classes. How do we balance a chemical equation? You all know that. Anyway, I'll take one example to help you out a little bit. All these equations, what I am going to write is somewhere or else, which is given in the NCERT book, right? And one such reaction is MnO2 plus HCl will give you MnCl2 plus H2O plus chlorine. Manganese dioxide, when reacted with concentrated hydrochloric acid, is producing manganese chloride, water and chlorine. This is a method of preparation, chlorine gas in the laboratory. When manganese dioxide is made to react with concentrated HCl, we get chlorine gas. Now this equation is to be balanced. Now as far as the balancing is concerned, you take any one reactor. It doesn't matter which one you are going to take. You take any one. So I am taking here, there are total 2 plus 2, 4 chlorine. We are counting the number of chlorine atoms. MnCl2. You know that how do we write a symbol? The first letter capital and if second letter is there, it is a smaller letter. We all know that, lower class we have studied it. And by the first 20 atomic hydrogen till calcium, you should learn it. Aram se. Learn it slowly, and you should know that. So MnCl2 plus H2O plus chlorine. So I am touching on to this chlorine. There are 4 chlorine in the product side, right? So reactants, we have how many chlorine? Only 1. You want to make it 4. You cannot make it 4 over here. Then it becomes HCl4. And what is the molecular formula of hydrochloric acid? It is HCl. You cannot change the molecular formula of a compound. So it is HCl. So it should be 4, cannot be written over there. And to make it 4, whatever we write in front, this 4 HCl means 1, 2, 3, 4 HCl. And that is the meaning when we write down 4 in front. So we have got 4 HCl is taken. Now what do we see? the chlorine is balanced 2 plus 2 4. Right? And when we see the product side, hydrogen is there are only 2. Right? So we make it 2s2. Hydrogen is balanced. So chlorine is balanced. Hydrogen is balanced. Now see oxygen 2s2 means you can understand H2O. So 2s, there are 2 oxygen atoms, and here it is 2 oxygen atoms, 1 Mn, equation is balanced. Understood it? Balancing is very simple. It is simply a trial and error method. One thing. I'll take one more example. C2H6, that is ethane bonds in oxygen, we get carbon dioxide plus H2. Ethane C2H6 plus O2 becomes CO2 plus H2O. Now you catch hold of anything, any one element. Say for example, let's see the product. There are 2 plus 1, 3 oxygen. Am I right? 3 oxygen, CO2 and H2O. And how do we make this oxygen into, you cannot make it as O3. So here it is 3, here it is 2. So a little difficult. Take on to the next one. How many carbon? 2 carbon over here. So start out with that CO2. Correct? How many hydrogen? 6 hydrogen. So here we have 3s2 balance. You can see that now. You have got it. The same. CH4 plus O2, CO2 plus H2O, carbon is balanced, hydrogen is balanced. Right? Now you see the oxygen. How many oxygen are there in the product? 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7. Is it 7 oxygen or no? Now here it is how much? 2. So how do these 2 get converted into 7? We multiply by 3.5. 3.5 into 2 means 7. Agreed? But how do we have these half molecules? We have only full molecules. We won't be having any half molecules. Right? So to remove the half molecules, we multiply this entire equation by 2. Now then what happens? 2 C2H6 plus 7 O2 becomes 4 CO2 plus 3 2s are 6 H2. Now you see it is balanced. Clear everybody? C2H6 plus 3.5 O2 becomes 2 CO2 plus 3 H2O. Agreed? Now we cannot have half molecules. You in maths you have studied it. You remove the half, we multiply the entire thing by 2. So we will get 2 C2H6 plus 7 O2 becomes 2 2s are 4 CO2 plus 6 H2. Equation is balanced. So simple that. Have you understood it? Clear how to balance it? Trial and error. By the way, suppose like in the examination it is asked, balance the chemical equation. If you don't balance it, your mark will be reduced. Sometimes what have I told you? Sodium chloride reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid. What are the products? Give the chemical equation. Understood it? And in that situation, when it is give the chemical equation is asked, and there if you don't write chemical equation is not written, the mark is gone. But in that situation, balancing will not reduce your mark. Understood it? So our primary aim must be write down the equation. Understood it? And if you can balance it on the go, you balance it. Otherwise, after completing the paper, come and balance. Don't waste your time on thinking on how to balance it. Have you understood it clearly? And most of the chemical equations, one should be able to balance it very easily. You will not be getting any complicated equation. And by chance, if something is there, you make the product. Balancing you can do later. Because and mostly when the teachers check it and if the products are right, the balancing they generally neglect it. Clear of children of these things? Go through that NCERT book on the first chapter. Understood it? Basically, I had explained chemical equation and what are, how do we make it, etc., etc. And tomorrow, I think anything I'll unmute the mic for some time tomorrow. Whatever you want, you can ask me. Agreed? No, I think time is getting out. Sir, I started it earlier, so I'm just winding it up.